Hello, good morning and a warm welcome. It is time to decode the Economic Times newspaper and I am Priyanka Bhatia from Women on Wealth. Today the article that we are going to talk about is on page number 11 of Economic Times. This page is dedicated to the economy, the macro, micro and more. So that's the page that we are going to read this article from, and the article is inflation and wheat, sugar export ban affects consumer sentiment. So we all know sugar exports were banned, wheat exports were banned, and well, how has this affected? How has this affected the consumer sentiment is what we will look at today. So that's the conversation, and Veena, Sunita, Usha, Preeti, good morning. Good morning and warm welcome. Let's begin on our upskilling, everybody. So I'm reading first paragraph and we will decode as we go together. Got that, Kaveri? Good morning. So consumer sentiment, it fell sharply in the last week of May, more so in rural India than urban. This is very critical, guys, for us to know. Rural India brings in far more demand than urban India. That is what is so in our country. And today we're talking about that consumer sentiment has fell sharply in the last week of May. Right now we're in the first week of May, it's the 3rd of May. And last week of May, today is the 3rd of June. And last week of May, it has been that the consumer sentiment fell more so in rural India than urban India, and this is on the back of an export ban. So export ban was put on wheat and sugar, and higher inflation has been there. So this is the story, and this is being said by Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. CMIE, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, is saying this. Consumer sentiment hit in rural India more than urban India, and this is because of the wheat and sugar export ban and higher inflation. So if you notice the consumer sentiment, what is consumer sentiment? It's the demand. The demand is going down. And with the demand going down and supply remaining the same, what is going to happen? Sales in different businesses is going to come down. If you remember last decoding of the Economic Times newspaper, we discovered that when the repo rate, RBI, increases the repo rate, the banks increase the interest rates. Loans become expensive. When loans become expensive, what happens? Liquidity from the market goes out. There's not enough money in the market. When there's not enough money in the market and inflation is rising. Remember, we did another decoding where we said inflation rate was 7.8%, an 8-year high. So touching almost 8% on papers. God knows really how much more it is, because financial analysts continue to report that inflation numbers are underreported. And now with liquidity, with the money going out of the market, loans becoming expensive, inflation rate becoming so high, and wheat and sugar exports banned, it's a big blow. Let's read further. According to data from the independent think tank, so CMIE is the independent think tank, the index of consumer sentiment, it has tanked, it has come down. The index of consumer sentiment, it has come down by 9.4%. And this is in the week that ended May 29th. The index of consumer sentiment fell by 5.9% in urban regions, while the drop was much steeper in rural regions 11.4%. So consumer sentiment in rural India dropping by double digit. This informs you where the businesses are going. And many big businesses which have especially consumer products, they have been really targeting the urban market. Given that the fall was more striking in rural India, it is quite possible that the controls on wheat and sugar export could be responsible. So the export ban which is put, it could go off. That's what CMIE is saying. We may conjecture that measures to control inflation hurt sentiment in rural India, but the continued elevated inflation hurts urban India. That's about inflation. So containing inflation is another conversation. Removing the ban or being responsible with the ban is another idea. Let's read further. Though the 30-day moving average as of May 29th dropped 67.91, it was still higher than April 67.2. Right? May is being compared with April with regard to the consumer sentiment. And and also it's talking about the highest compared to any month since March 2020 when the first lockdown was announced. So the most hit consumer sentiment is now. And this is no surprise, guys. When the Federal Reserve, the US, like how here there is Central Bank, Reserve Bank of India, this Federal Reserve in the US, and a lot of economies follow it. When it increased the interest rates all of a sudden, we knew that all the economies around are going to be impacted because yes, we do follow the Federal Reserve quite a bit. Okay. However, there are signs that the steady improvement in consumer sentiment seen so far during 2022 may be slowing or even reversing. So, the steady improvement in consumer sentiment, slowing, demand slowing, and what does it mean for businesses and for especially businesses you're invested in? What does it mean for your business? What does this mean for stocks that you're invested in? What does this mean for businesses that is, that you're invested in? So I was speaking with one of the traders, very, very well-known traders in Delhi last week. And he was sharing with me how the market has come down in the last 2 weeks. He was also sharing that, all the items he was selling, the demand for them has slowed down. And this is thanks to all the money going out and all these measures that the government has taken to make sure that inflation is contained. But for now the demand is contained. That's what has happened. Start typing, guys. What are you learning? What are you understanding? What are you getting from this conversation? Hi Ashima, Maya, Rema, Usha is saying cost will reduce. Okay. Direct impact on the FMCG sector, Nidhi is creating. Absolutely. FMCG sector for sure is going to get affected. Auto sector is going to get affected. Actually, it has already gotten affected. There was news, I think 2 days or 3 days ago in the newspapers that smartphones, FMCG products, auto sales, all this is impacted. So absolutely. Kaveri, wasn't the repo rate being increased supposed to have controlled the inflation, but now liquidity is low and inflation is still rising? Well, yes, reducing the demand and having enough supply could bring the prices down. When the prices come down, inflation may come down. That's the logic from economics. But practically, let's see how it goes. Right? Practically, let's see how it goes and what happens. We're yet to see. What else? Any other sector that you guys see will get impacted, can get impacted? Real estate sector is already impacted. Cement, I can see people, not building many enough houses. I was talking with one, investor, property investor, and he was saying that there was a time when people used to buy a lot of properties for investments, but now in the market, there is only direct investor. There is only one kind of an investor, a retail investor. Somebody wants to buy, say, a flat and live there. So, yeah, he was sharing that according to him, those are the kind of people who are around. So start typing, guys. What are you getting? What are you learning? What are you understanding? Please start typing. What's showing up for you? And when you're running businesses or you're investing, I really think, building all this knowledge, having information of what's happening around really helps. Really, really helps. Come on, guys, very, very quickly, one-liners. Hey, Rakhi, good morning. Rakhi is creating property, only the genuine buyers are there now, no more investors. Yes, yes. People who want to stay there are the only ones buying now. Everybody else is chilling, investing elsewhere like me. Usha, only thing that you're looking at is learning from observations. Yes, can we learn? Build our financial education. Skill up in our finances, investments, knowledge. And all this knowledge is going to compound. It's going to compound like money does. Hey Diksha, good morning. Okay, Preeti is saying stay tight, stay right, in the right mindset. Got that? Awesome. Brilliant, guys. I'm glad. Preeti, Usha, Rakhi, Kaveri, Nidhi. You guys are creating value and taking back. Guys, I can always come and create value. But ultimately, it's you who has to derive the value. And if you don't derive the value, this is where you lose. So can you really, really invite your own self in always looking at deriving value from wherever you are? Nidhi, correct me, okay. The excess money that was flowed in the market during Corona is what the government is trying to contain now? Absolutely. Yes. We were really, really liberal in those Corona times because we didn't want our economy to come down. And yes, there was liquidity which was there, and now it is being squeezed out. Kaveri, in the rural areas with the wheat and sugar export ban and increase in prices of commodities, how will they manage? Jobs are scarce. Well, a person who knows how to build a business will manage. You need an entrepreneur at the end of the day. Every person needs to turn to that. This world is no more the jobs world that it used to be, and I think we need to embrace the change. Like my co-founder Praveer says all the time, we got to keep embracing the change and moving with the times. If we don't, who will? Nima, difficult times, but this would also change, sure. Kaveri is saying it may eventually get corrected, but they are going to suffer till then. How long can they manage? Let's see. I'm sure they'll find a way. There are many, many opportunities that this economy, this country has. Please start sharing the video, guys. How many of you think that this could be of value to a woman who might be connected with you? Or you might not know that she is looking at taking charge of her finances, but this video can make a difference to her. Start sharing and type in shared once you've shared the video. Every entrepreneur needs employees. Well, I think for now, every startup needs a very, very strong core team. Yeah. And core team is at the base of any work. So I don't know if a startup right at the very beginning needs employees. If it's not stable and any change can bring down the business, then yeah, first you need a core team and then yes, a team. I don't know about employees. Yeah, that's what I would say. Ashima, Diksha, thank you for sharing the video. Diksha is creating that she will go through the video again as she's missed the beginning. Sure, Diksha, go for it. And thank you for being the champion that you are, Ashima and Diksha. Loads of love to both of you. Hey, anybody else coming in, sharing the video, saying that they're committed? Got that, Veena? Thank you for sharing the video. Thank you so much. Every time each woman shares this work, it gets me present to how critical it is to spread financial education in the world. If we don't spread financial education, women will continue to depend on other people in their lives for their financial investment decisions. And this dependence is going to come in the way of them reaching their goals. So, on this note, leaving you with this thought, thank you so much for joining. And now I see you in the Ask Me Anything series today at 4:30 p.m. on our Instagram channel and on Monday for the Wake Up Women Live. Usha, thank you for sharing the video. Loads of love, everybody. Take charge, stay safe, and keep coming back for your financial growth.